Houston Texans were active enough to at least turn some heads in free agency. A new head coach, DeMeco Ryans, is getting some of his dudes to bring in and really start, hopefully, a new era for the Texans. And Caserio and company, I think, are going to finally assemble a team that could be pretty interesting, especially moving forward with a second overall pick. Maybe getting, or most likely getting a quarterback of the future. Who knows? We'll see how it all unfolds. But yes, we're doing a 2023 Houston Texans free agency recap. And if you guys weren't thinking of it, you were. Come on. Yes, it's just a business. So just recap. Yeah, that's right. Yes, if you were thinking you weren't thinking of the Monsters vs. Aliens movie when we did our recap, you're lying to yourself. But here we go, talking about the Texans' newest recap for free agency. So starting things off here, you sign Chase Winovich from the Browns on a one-year, $2.7 million deal. Now, he only had 20 tackles and a sack last year for the Browns, as well as a 61.1 PFF grade. But I think we quickly forget what he did with the Patriots. Yes, I know injuries have been definitely a concern, but overall, he's been a guy that, you really are excited about with what he can do and bring to your defense. So he's a guy that, quite honestly, it makes a lot of sense here with Caserio and company being kind of immersed and being in on that Chase Winovich back a couple of years ago. So I think he makes a lot of sense. He's going to be kind of a quick retooling, or at least he's going to help out this defense retool quickly. Also taking away Noah Brown, excuse me, I guess I can't spell. Wide receiver Noah Brown from the Cowboys on a one-year, $2.6 million deal. Last year he had 43 catches for 555 yards, 555, and 3 touchdowns. But I think the Texans really need to focus on getting wide receiver help that will actually help out their rookie quarterback or whoever is going to play quarterback, whether it's Case Keenum or whoever it is. So I think Noah Brown is going to be one of those guys that's a really good pick down the line. He's going to be a lot of fun, and I do think that he is going to be a fantastic value on only a one-year, $2.6 million contract. Next is Mike Boone. I love Mike Boone. Being a Vikings fan and seeing this guy get his opportunities and make the most of them, I think coming over from the Broncos now, it's only a 2-year, $3.1 million deal, and he only had 200 all-purpose yards last year, no touchdowns, but he is an absolute stud. This reminds me a lot of the Mewaldy Moore move a couple of years ago when he was playing for the Vikings and went over to the Steelers, had over 800 all-purpose yards and like 6 touchdowns that year. I really think Mike Boone could be that dude. Now, again, he's going to be behind Dameon Pierce. I understand that, but Mike Boone is an absolute stud. He can pass block. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can run in between the tackles, inside and outside. I think this is a fantastic move. Bringing in a, probably going to be your second guy coming off the bench, but, when Dameon Pierce goes down, Mike Boone is going to be that dude. You absolutely love it. And then signing tight end Andrew Beck away from the Broncos. I mean, they're just taking everybody away from Denver on a 2-year, $6.5 million deal. I think, again, with the right coaching and with the right quarterback, he could be a guy that, maybe does carve out a role there. You talk about losing O.J. Howard to the Raiders. Now you got a guy that, yes, only caught 5 passes for 69 yards in 13 games last year. But I do think he could be a guy that once he gets a little bit more work and gets out from, the Denver type system, I think he could do some good, especially for the Texans. Then quarterback Case Keenum coming over from the Bills on a 2-year, $6.25 million deal. Didn't play a whole lot last year. Let's be real. I mean, Josh Allen's probably not going to sit, but Case Keenum is going to be the perfect stopgap quarterback for whoever that future franchise quarterback is for the Texans, and you got to love it. And then, yes, Jimmy Ward following DeMeco Ryans over from the 49ers, where he signed a 2-year, $13 million deal last year, had 50 tackles as well as 3 interceptions at a 76.1 PFF grade. So yes, DeMeco Ryans, he has guys come with him. They believe in his system. They believe in him as a coach, and I think he's going to do some fantastic stuff for the Texans. And then yes, Robert Woods coming from the Rams, signing a 2-year, $15.25 million deal. Last year, having 53 catches for 527 yards and 2 touchdowns. Again, him and Noah Brown, or Noah Brown if you're me, are going to be pretty interesting for the Texans here, because again, I do think you need some weapons to help out that new franchise quarterback, and maybe just Case Keenum to get things rolling here. If you want to take it, that's fine for this year, but at the end of the day, I think that Caserio and company are running out of excuses. They got to be able to do something, but really excited for Robert Woods. So as far as losses from the Texans, very rarely do you look at a team that has the second overall pick and do you think losses, but Ogbania Okoronkwo, I'm pretty close on that, I believe, is kind of probably their biggest loss. So he signed a 3-year, $19 million deal with the Browns last year. He really was a leader on this defense. 44 total tackles, tackles and 5 sacks, finished with a 75.1 PFF grade. I love it. I think he's going to be a guy that, quite honestly, does go over to the Browns, gives them a lot of value, and that's just it really just seems that that's all the Browns do is bring in value. So Okoronkwo, I think is going to be a solid addition to the Browns. And the Texans, it's become apparent that DeMeco Ryans wants to bring in his dudes, and that makes sense. So, but overall, at the end of the day, it is a loss for the Texans. We'll see how they are able to recoup that moving forward. Wide receiver Philip Dorsett signed a 1-year deal worth $1.2 million with the Raiders. Last year, he caught 20 passes for 257 yards and a touchdown. I mean, I understand that you did lose a guy like Dorsett, but at the same time, you got Noah Brown in the building. You got Robert Woods. I'm not really worried about this one. Also, you released A.J. Cann, the guard, who played over 1,000 snaps for you last year and did allow 5 sacks and had 1 penalty and a 66.6 PFF grade. But overall, I do think that you can find some guys on the street, or at least guys in the draft that can play guard for you and do some different things, and I think it's going to be interesting. Plus, Kenyon Green, he's going to come alive in year 2. I'm calling it. Texans, who did you keep? Well, it starts with re-signing center Scott Quisenberry on a 1-year $1.2 million deal. Played over 990 snaps last year. Had 2 penalties, allowed 7 sacks, and had a 36.6 PFF grade. I do think this is a position that the Texans could probably look to upgrade, especially in the draft, maybe in free agency, but most likely the draft. There's some good ones. Guys like John Michael Schmitz and company. I think this is going to make a lot of sense. Then yes, you signed a long snapper John Weeks to a 1-year $1.65 million deal. Good Lord, I'm sorry, I've had my coffee. I really don't know what to put for stats for long snappers, just as long as they don't consistently put it over the punter's or kicker's head. Really not a lot you can measure on. So, hey, you resigned your long snapper. And then also, yes, Derek Rivers, he was on IR last year, kind of coming back after being and tearing his biceps last year. So it's good to have him back in the building. He did show some stuff for the Patriots back in the day, so it makes sense that he is going to come back to the Texans. But, honestly, I think, like I said, the Texans did some pretty interesting things. I think Winovich, Noah Brown, Mike Boone, Case Keenum, Jimmy Ward. This is a solid free agency class for the Houston Texans. I think Caserio, as well as, the rest of this. DeMeco Ryans, I think these guys are putting together their team that is going to be what is best for this franchise, and I'm excited about it. But let us know what you guys think. Make sure you guys like and subscribe down below. Leave a like and a comment. It helps people find the show. We greatly appreciate all the support that we've gotten and continue to get. You guys are all truthfully awesome. We love every single one of you. Down in the description below, you'll find all of our social media platforms. So give us a like and a follow there. Also, remember to give us a listen and a sub on iTunes. And finally, if you have anything else you'd like us to cover, send us an email at thesportsbp@yahoo.com or put it in the comment section down below, and we would love to cover it. But let us know what you guys think about our 2023 Houston Texans free agency recap.